Once again, you already know what it is. You already know where you have reached the number one collaborative professional wrestling podcast in the world today. Immediately to my left, your right, is the man known as Conrad Cushman, representing everything pro wrestling. The man talking to you right now is the man named Sean D. Hubbard, representing HW Weekly. Once again, collectively, we are Clash of the Podcast, and we are fired up to bring you guys another episode of what we consider to be a fantastic podcast. We hope you feel the same. With that being said, I will not belabor the point. The chat is here. Conrad's here. I am here. I'm going to say it. You know what it is. And we're going to get rocking and rolling. Conrad, my brother, as we prepare for another episode of The Clash, please do me the solid and drop that thing.
Episode 203 is live and in full effect. What's going on, everybody? I'm Conrad Cushman of Everything Pro Wrestling, and here we have another episode of Clash. I actually promised Sean that we were going to fit something in. I have a really cool game that I want to play with Sean on here, but I cannot do that because Sean's going to want to know what it is, and I don't want to tell him just yet because I think it'll be better if it's a surprise. Now, I promise you, when this Dark Side of the Ring stuff's probably over is when we're going to be able to fit it in, because I'm talking to Sean this week. I'm like, yeah, we got this, we got that to talk about. And then I sat down, and after we had stopped talking, I was like, wait a minute. We got Dark Side of the Ring. I forgot all about this. And I was like, yeah. So we're going to be plugged in and locked in. So if I can find a moment to squeeze it in, I will. And you all will play along with this game, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. But Sean's got some treats coming up for you this upcoming week, man.
Yeah, really excited to bring you guys Hubbanomics. I've been bringing you guys some really dope episodes. This particular week is going to be live as an interactive live. Your comments will appear live on screen as I review in its entirety WWE Unreal Season 3, which debuts tomorrow, which is Tuesday. Hubbanomics, a live Hubbanomics, the 50th edition of Hubbanomics, will be coming to you live Thursday evening. Looking forward to having you guys there. And then the following Thursday, another live edition of a podcast on HW Weekly. But next week, it will be Clash of the Podcast, the special edition. We are going to, when I say we, I mean myself and my brother Conrad Cushman, will appear on my channel on next Thursday to discuss SummerSlam in its entirety. Yes, we have given you some nuggets. We will give you some more nuggets tonight. We will give you some more nuggets next Monday. However, the main course will be next Thursday evening on HW Weekly, as myself and Conrad will bring you a live edition of The Clash, and it will discuss SummerSlam, its predictions, and its storylines. We're looking forward to having you guys there, and we're looking forward to keeping the momentum going as it relates to Clash of the Podcast in conjunction with HW Weekly and Everything Pro Wrestling.
For sure. And if you guys don't know, right now what you're watching is Clash of the Podcast. We go live on Monday, 6:05 Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow, our good friends who are in the chat right now, AEW Fan Hub, they have a show called Ignition. We have our Discords linked together. Sean's in the Discord now. Make sure you guys are in there. Say hello. And yes, you guys can go over there and check them out. They have a nice podcast live Tuesdays at 8:45 here on YouTube. Give them some eyeballs. Check them out. And then on Wednesdays, me and Derek, we do Dynamite review. Come on over. You know what time it is.
Yes, sir. Big shout out to AEW Hub. Sent me something. I'm just now seeing it. Sent me something really cool. It was like a remake of my logo that they just did it just because. I really appreciate that. It was really, really nice. Thank you.
No doubt, man. Kelson does fantastic work for us.
I mean, the thing is, he just sent it just because. It was very nice. Very nice.
Yes. Shout out to the chat. Let's give our shout outs real quick. We got Miracle in the house.
I'm searching for a miracle. Believe the impossible.
He said, "What up to my favorite podcast, Tag Team Conrad and Sean? As always, looking forward to discussing some wrestling with you in the chat. Appreciate that." We got Clown in the house.
Cleasy, 1-3-easy, 4-tweezy.
Said, "Afternoon, everyone." Ray Thompson, nicest guy in the room. He said, "Happy Monday, guys. Hope everyone had a great weekend." What's going on, Ray?
Beautiful family, as always.
Vinny.
The only Vinny we like.
Happy Monday. God bless. Jesus loves y'all.
Yes, he does.
And he continues into Roman main eventing in a segment over a tag team match with Cody and Punk. LOL. If you ever needed to know who the number one guy is, you got your confirmation.
100. I mean, I don't think it could be any more true of a statement that Roman Reigns didn't wrestle and he was higher billed than Cody Rhodes.
Where's the GIF? No lies detected.
There you go.
T Ferg said, "What's good, gentlemen? Hope everyone had a good weekend. I'm glad Spain beat Argentina."
Ferg.
Quills
Quilly
said, "What up, Conrad, Sean, in chat? Your boy Sir Quills is back again to enjoy my two favorite bros, CJ and Hubbs, for episode 203 of the best wrestling podcast out today, Clash of the By God podcast. Hashtag EPW. Hashtag HWW."
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Matt Lopez.
M. Leezy Fo Sheezy. Hello, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a good weekend. Let's kick the week off right with the two aces of our pro wrestling community. We appreciate you, Matt. And he goes on to say, "Saturday Night Velocity was okay." I like it. Saturday Night Heat. I like it.
Yeah, he is not happy with that show.
M. Leezy goes on to say, by the way, I call him M. Leezy. We call him M. Leezy, but we want to show love and make sure people know his actual hashtag, which is Matt Lopez 6696, saying that WWE is needing some redemption after that poor show.
No doubt. T Ferg comes in. "I didn't watch, but I heard Saturday night main event was filled with celebrities. Does WWE rely too much on stars outside of the wrestling business?" I think it's always been a part of it. There's ways to do it and there's ways not to do it. It just depends on how people feel about it.
I mean, I'm cool with it, but to an extent, I think what happened on Saturday, which we're going to get into, had a lot to do with New York. I am a New York Knicks fanatic. I am a New York Knicks lover for my whole life. So somebody like me may have been okay with it, but some random person in what city I'm going to say, Des Moines, Iowa, might not have loved it as much as I did.
Right. Miracle talked about his disappointment here. Him and Matt were going back and forth. AEW Fan Hub, like I said, was in the chats. "Greetings, everyone. Hope everyone is ready for a great week of pro wrestling."
Yes, sir.
Let's for sure. It's funny, they had 8 months ahead of time and they're running the theater with AAA and NXT events during Mania week. Why? Because the possibility of AEW running New York in April.
There you go.
It's funny, mighty funny too, how they're running, All Out, and they're going to be in Chicago the exact same week WWE or AEW's in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Funny. Let WWE and TKO spend that money. Hassan, what's good, man? Appreciate you. Anthony Slate's in the house. What's good? E, you can never pause me, brother. You can never pause me. We always say play. What's good? XG Dub said I'm late. Never late.
XG Dub.
Jocelyn in the house. Evening, everyone. I've seen good and bad from Saturday night. Finished Dark Side. AEW does what it does best, so I'm ready like Tevin Campbell.
Jocelyn, that's J-O. E-Y. The guy pull it back up for me. J-O. E-Y. You said you messed me up, Conrad. Golly. I want to thank Conrad for making me look foolish on my own show. That's Jocelyn. 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 That's Jocelyn. Double J. Single J. We appreciate you, JJ. Appreciate you being here. Clown says, damn, I'm going to miss Thursday. I got to go to Comic-Con. Don't worry. It's always available on demand afterwards. I appreciate the support. We appreciate the support. And Lizzie says, I will say this SummerSlam card looking good. If it was one night, it could be one of the best. That's a good point.
Touche. Watch your tone in the Discord. Might have to drop that band hammer. Always. Always. Thanks, Conrad. You're welcome. Hubs.
Hubba. I'll take it. I'll take it. Thank you, sir.
I'm just trying to see if we've missed anyone. Doug is in the house. Another Monday, another clash. Conrad, Sean, chat, teach me.
Hey.
And we got Guy Will Gamble in the house. Here, it was good, everybody. Hope y'all had a great one.
GWG, what up, though?
What up? All right, man. We're here. We're going to talk about it. Saturday night's main event. Sean, I did not watch the show. I'm going to give my pre-talk here.
Sure.
I did not fully watch this show. I am heavily relying on Sean's word for this. I do know of some of the stuff, and I have seen bits and pieces of some of the stuff. So I'm going to let Sean kind of take over and say, hey, you missed this. You might have missed this little key point. But Sean, they did a pre-show match for this, announced right before I was getting ready to go out for the evening. Trick Williams versus Laredo Kid.
Right. I mean, look, it was nice that we were able to showcase, Trick Williams in a pre-show. I mean, it would have been nicer to have him on the actual show, but maybe they thought that Laredo Kid, no disrespect to him, was not worthy of being on the main show. It was odd to even see a pre-show, considering the fact we haven't seen one in quite some time. I think Dark Elite Eric pointed that out, but Trick Williams was victorious. There's not really much to talk about as it relates to this match. Lil Yachty was not in attendance. But, it's good to see that Trick Williams is being showcased. We have to see what happens next. Obviously, he's going to be a forever United States champion, considering he got the custom belt. Hopefully, the reign will live up to all the other things that have been going on. But it was a decent match with a predictable outcome. I have no problem with the outcome. There's no way that Laredo Kid was going to walk out with the belt. It's just a matter of how Trick was showcased. And I thought he was showcased moderately well.
You feeling the that furry U.S. championship?
I'm not. I think it's a little bit too gimmicky. I was not a fan of the spinner, John Cena, United States or WWE championships. I don't believe that. I don't believe a championship should look like a toy. And John Cena, as much as I respect him, I'll always be a little bit jaded by what he did with that title. So now you move forward and people have custom titles. Ironically, it may sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I thought that Naomi's WWE Glow title was okay. Not good, but okay. But I think the Trick Williams title is very, very corny. And it's sad because Trick Williams isn't corny, but the belt is stupid.
I never minded the spinner one. I thought it was for the times. I thought G-Unit was on top of the world at that time. I was like, I get why they're doing this one at least.
Right.
And I think also everyone having their own custom titles like diminishes what the actual title is. Like, I think it's cool to see pictures of everybody holding like the same title. Like, that's the belt that so-and-so had. That's the belt that this guy had. Well, and instead now we're like, oh, if you didn't have the furry one, that was Trick's. This one's
to me it's silly. I mean, one of the silliest ones of all time was Daniel Bryan's, global awareness title or whatever you want to call it. For me, that's what the side plates are for. Side plates are to dignify you as a champion. Roman Reigns with the side plates, even though ironically I don't really see him with side plates, but I digress. Every title should have side plates. That's the only thing I'm sure some people might disagree with me about. I don't care if it's the tag team titles. I don't care if it's the NXT title. I don't care if it's the United States Intercontinental all the way up to the World Championships. Every belt should have a side plate because a side plate dignifies you as champion. It makes the belt special just for you. However, changing the entire face of the championship to suit the character is very stupid. It's like having Jey Uso win a belt and all of a sudden it's covered with palm trees and the word main event across the front. It's stupid. There's no reason for that.
I liked who did you say? Bryan Danielson?
Yeah.
I liked when he did it because I thought it made sense with who he is though. Like he doesn't consume beef. He's one of those, right? One of those guys. He doesn't like that stuff. So I'm like, well, why would he carry a leather championship belt around then? Like, why would that be his thing? He wouldn't care.
I hear you.
So yeah, it's an interesting take though. Did you hate when Warrior changed the colors of it, like to match whatever he was rocking?
No. Back in the day, when Warrior's title was white or yellow, that didn't bother me too much. Because the title was the title, right? To me, changing the title is what bothered me. A championship should be a championship. spinners, fur, changing it to a wooden title. Like, what do we do? Like, I understand what the point is it's trying to be made, but then it's like, there comes a point, when is enough enough? And then when you think about all the changes that have been made to certain championships, what are you saying about people who don't have change titles? Are they not worthy of having change titles? Do they not have the cachet in order to have a title that's specific for them? Shout out to Clown. I didn't like the Smoking Skull belt. I thought it was corny. I did not think that was necessary at all. The Winged Eagle belt, whether it be the 98 or 99 version, was perfectly fine.
Can we tell the truth? I barely remember the Smoking Skull title too. Okay. To be 100% honest, like, it's such a rarity in my mind. Look at this. I love everybody talking about all the different stuff in the chat. Ray says he thinks that Trick should win Money in the Bank this year. I don't think he needs it just yet. I think Trick's in a fine spot where he is. But Sean, I can't wait to get your opinion on. Well, you can give your opinion on Trick, and then I'll go into the next segment because I want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, I love Trick. We all love Trick. I think the consensus is that he's a very, very strong competitor with a very strong character. The furry belt I can leave alone, but I think Trick is still on his trajectory as being a future world champion.
I love it. The wooden belt is crazy. The chat is going crazy for this. I love it. This might be a good topic. You might want to pencil this one down for a future Hubbonomics in like 10 episodes.
Right.
We have here Obafemi and I'm all grown up. Yeah. Gotta live in there. Yeah. She doesn't even work here. Stephanie McMahon brings out Obafemi for an interview segment. Sean, you commented to me about this, so I kind of already knew your thoughts, but let the people know what you thought of this segment here. And are you of the consensus that Obafemi has given up his title shot now at this point? It sounds like he gave up his title shot.
The title shot is gone. He's going to have to earn another one at the Royal Rumble. That it's stupid, but that's what it is. Stephanie McMahon, Levesque, Helmsley, or just Stephanie McMahon, however you'd like to introduce her. Her being on my television makes me sick to my damn stomach. I am so tired of seeing this woman gallivant throughout the arena, acting like she owns it when she doesn't. I understand Triple H is in charge, but as Conrad just articulated, she doesn't even work here. And let me tell you something else. To have her be in the ring and get the rub from Obafemi, arguably the hottest thing in the business right now, she gets to sit up here and interview Obafemi. It's shameless, it's unnecessary, and quite frankly, it's cringe to me. Seeing Stephanie on my TV is cringe. I don't like it. I used to respect. Matter of fact, I take that back. I still respect her. You can't not respect her. But I don't respect what she's doing right now. It's shameless. Introducing Obafemi and interviewing him on Saturday night's main event. Opening up Royal Rumbles. Opening up WrestleManias. For what? For what? It's not needed. It's corny to me. And Stephanie has done nothing but downsize her appeal as it relates to a character since she's been gone. And now that she's back, it just continues to get more cringe and more cringe and more cringe. The crowd was mixed not because they hate Stephanie. I'm not going to lie and say the fans hate Stephanie. You know how they feel about Stephanie Conrad Cushman? They're confused of why she's there. The New York, specifically the New York fans this past Saturday, it was a mixed reaction because people don't know why she's there.
I don't understand, man. Like, I know some people are going to get on me like, oh, you're a hater, blah, blah, blah. That's fine.
Oh, they think I'm a hater. Don't worry about that. I don't care what people think about me as long as I'm telling the truth. Oh, Stephanie McMahon being there doesn't make any sense.
I don't get what she has to do with this. And the sad part was, who asked the question? Jocelyn said it. Don't tell me she slapped him. That's crazy that that's your first thought when you think Stephanie McMahon's in a segment.
Yeah, I can't blame her for feeling that way.
Because that's what always happens, and no one ever gets their lick back. So what is the purpose of doing that? Is that the great honors to get slapped by Stephanie and then never get anything back from it?
Well, shout out to Jocelyn, and let's just answer that question for her for the benefit of those who may not have seen it. No, she did not slap Oba. She was complete babyface during the interview, but it was still corny.
Yeah, and E said, is she getting guests for her podcast or something? Bro, at this point, I have no idea. No idea.
Yeah, and I see Samuel Rivera. Welcome to the chat, Samuel. Steph is an OG. I mean, Steph was never a real champ. Steph was always a novelty character. To me, Stephanie McMahon is not worthy of being in the Hall of Fame. There's so many things. There's so many things about her that just don't make any sense to me. When I think about Stephanie McMahon, I think about nepotism, plain and simple. Now you might say, well, Sean, you don't seem to feel the same way about Shane McMahon. No, I don't feel the same way about Shane McMahon because Shane McMahon jumped off a 15-foot stage. Shane
McMahon put over talent.
Shane McMahon put people over. Shane McMahon would actually get his comeuppance if he did something wrong to a character. He would eventually get stunned or rock bottom or slapped in the face or punched in the mouth or thrown off the top of a steel cage. I mean, come on, man. Is there even a comparison? Well, let me not go too crazy because nobody really mentions Shane McMahon. I brought him up to make a point. Shane McMahon, to me, is worthy of more accolades and more recognition and more appreciation than Stephanie McMahon should ever be. I hear you. I hear you. People who think that she is worthy of accolades. Stephanie McMahon being on my television in 2026 doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It makes no sense. It's just plugging her in to get her a chance to be on television.
If you listen, and it's here's the key thing. If you're listening to what they're saying, that's what me and Sean were saying. Like, she doesn't work here. So why is she getting television time over you only have 5 or 6 matches on these cards.
There you go.
Until recently, which me and Sean have been complaining about since Triple H took over. You're only giving us 5 matches. You're charging the same crazy prices for less. You're like, yeah, I know it used to be $9.99 to watch these pay-per-view shows. Now we're going to charge $30 and give you less. You should enjoy it, though, and stop complaining and shut up and be a fan. Mm-hmm. That's not how this works, bro. That's not how this works at all. So it doesn't make sense that someone's on TV getting TV time when your interviewers could be using that TV time to get themselves over, doing something else. Rob, Stephanie put her palm on the countless occasions.
Yo, Rob, you're crazy, man. That's hilarious.
She took a long break, but she has classic segments, especially with Taker. Are you talking about the Attitude Era ones? I mean,
he's talking about when she got abducted. Okay, all right.
Yeah, Ken Shamrock, I thought, held that down.
No, that was
Where is she? When he had Christian in the ankle lock. Where is she?
That was all Ken Shamrock. That was all Vince, and that was all Shane. That's all that the whole thing. The whole thing.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So, anyway, to main event the pre-show, Obafemi was interviewed by Stephanie McMahon or whatever.
So, what was the opening match? Because I have the women's tag team. Is that correct?
The women's tag team match was the opening match of the evening.
And here we are. I think me and Sean made it very clear, at least I hope I did. I wanted these titles off of Nikki and Paige immediately. Yes, I did see Paige's comments today about, I was over in AEW. It didn't work out. I'm a WWE girl. All right.
Whatever.
All right. She was kind. She wasn't mean or rude or anything, but all right. Well,
shout out to Ripshot. Chyna's not in the Hall of Fame, but Stephanie is. That says all you need to know. By the way, the Bella twins are in the Hall of Fame and not give me a break.
Thank you, Alexa Bliss Gamer, for the Brie, not Nikki.
But yes, Toxic Attraction, whatever their names are, the Revolution, the I don't even know the Toxic, Wastelands. They were They were challenging for the championship. And by the way, I don't call them toxic wastelands to be knocking them. I call them toxic wastelands because that's how they've been booked. However, they did end up becoming the new women's tag team champions. And I know, Miracle, I appreciate you, bro. I know it's Fatal Influence. I was being funny. One of the most poorly wrestled matches I've ever seen.
It was that bad? I heard people say like it wasn't good. I know Fallon Henley, they said got like she was bleeding or something.
Yeah, it was. She got busted open. Man, Leezy knows what I'm talking about. He knows I was kidding. Look, there's punches that are thrown. There's a spot that stands out to me like a sore thumb. They were outside the ring, and Brie Bella threw a punch that missed by about 2 feet. And you know, the woman she reacted like she got punched in a completely poorly wrestled, poorly executed match. It really, and chat, you can let me know what you think. The fact that the right team won was almost overshadowed with how bad the match was. Not just the execution of the moves, Conrad Cushman.
The finish I heard was bad too.
The execution of the finish. You took the words out of my mouth. Paige gets rolled up, or I should say Paige rolls her up. And as the referee is looking in this direction, the third member of the team jumps up on the apron and rolls them over again in order for Fatal Influence to get the win. However, nobody in their right mind would ever think that the referee did not see what happened. The bottom line is the right two women did walk out with the championships. It was a poorly wrestled match and quite a dud, if you ask me.
Kind of crazy to think when they first got on the roster and JC Jane and them had all that heat and it's gone. Just no idea. But you know what? I wish them the best and onward and upward for the tag title reign that they're about to have because we needed a change, I felt, since WrestleMania.
Well, I mean, Quill said it right. It was Botchamania. And to answer your question, yes, we needed a change because they never should have been champions to begin with.
Let's see here. Yeah. Like Matt, meanwhile, Collision had a good opener. Jack Perry versus Nick Wayne, just saying. Mm-hmm. That was a pretty good match. I did catch that later on once I got home. And then I assume Danhausen was next?
Correct.
Boom. Danhausen, JD McDonough. How'd this come across to you, Sean? This is one where I've seen like I know my New York City brethren feel a certain way about this, and they thought it was good. So, but how did it come across to you?
Well, even if the Knicks had not won the championship, and it was the Spurs, and it was Wembanyama, or if the Thunder had won the championship and it was SGA, I think they put this thing together with whoever it was going to be as the guest in this match. So basically, Danhausen and JD McDonough fought a decent match. It wasn't going to be anything crazy. We all know that JD McDonough can run circles around Danhausen as it relates to bell-to-bell action. However, that's not what this was about. Accompanied to the ring by Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio would get involved a couple of times. Danhausen would retrieve his jersey, the Danhausen jersey, which he would bring back toward the entrance area and put in the chamber. When he threw that, I believe he threw the jersey in the chamber or went to the back and the chamber appeared or whatever the case may be. All of a sudden, an explosion, some smoke, and out comes, perfectly done, Conrad, very good. Out comes Karl Anthony Towns, which I thought was cool. But again, you got to understand, you got to take what I say with a grain of salt, Conrad, chat, because I'm a Knick fan. So as a Knick fan, it's going to be hard for me to be upset about a Knick being highlighted in the way he was. However, I will say this. I got to give Cat credit. Number one, Cat stepped over the top rope like a G. I know he's 7 feet tall, and it's not hard for him to step over the top rope, but he did it with confidence. He did it in a way, rest in peace, like my man Sid would have done it. It was kind of cool how he did it. And he executed two, dare I say, perfect chokeslams. Perfect chokeslams. One on JD McDonough and one on Dominic through the wooden table. And then, as Michael Cole coined it, Danhausen would execute the triple D, the Danhausen death drop. That's freaking blasphemy, even calling it that. But I digress. Which would lead to the win, and Danhausen winning, which was predictable considering he's a Knick guy and they were in New York. I thought Karl Anthony Towns did a good job, and the reason why I say he did a good job, sometimes these celebrities get in the ring and they embarrass themselves. Us as seasoned wrestling fans tend to really critique celebrities who get into the ring. You just pray that they don't trip over themselves or botch a move or hurt someone. Karl Anthony Towns did a great job. As we know later in the night, Jalen Brunson would not get physical. Karl Anthony Towns got physical, and he executed legit moves on legitimate wrestlers. Shout out to Dominic for the sell. Shout out to JD McDonough for the sell. And I thought it was really good for what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Danhausen, the guy who uncursed the Knicks allegedly, being highlighted over a guy who was never going to win in JD McDonough, and having the second greatest Knick of the modern era, Karl Anthony Towns, be showcased. And I thought they did a good job of that.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting to hear how you put it, Sean. And I think, was it Sam? Sam's still in the chat talking about JD, and he wasn't feeling like that. He doesn't think JD McDonough is that good. JD McDonough is so good that he can make anyone look good. He's probably in a position where it's like you're too good, and they're going to use you in that way. And that's the position he's going to be. He's going to be someone's right-hand guy. He's going to be someone's sidekick. And he's going to be doing some of those things. So, yeah.
I give a lot of credit to somebody like JD McDonough. JD McDonough, who would be in the World Championship picture in a TNA, in a World Championship picture in Ring of Honor, at least in the conversation in other organizations. Somebody like JD McDonough is not going to ever be a world champion unless he has a character change, right? Similar to Bryan Danielson or what have you. I don't believe that being small should disqualify you from being a world champion, but the way he's being booked currently, he's never going to be a world champion. But JD McDonough from bell to bell, I believe I've coined a phrase in the bell to bell thing, Conrad. I think JD McDonough is one of the best in the world bell to bell. I think, matter of fact, I'll take it a step further and say that I think in the history of the Judgment Day, outside of Edge, JD McDonough is the best wrestler in any incarnation of the Judgment Day. However, with Finn Balor being a former world champion, obviously Edge a multiple-time world champion, Damian Priest being a world champion, there is a certain look, a certain essence that WWE and or TKO would look for when it comes to a world champion. JD McDonough in this current WWE landscape with his current character being in place would never be a world champion. But bell to bell, he's arguably the best in the business, one of the best in the business. I would put him at least in the top 15 wrestlers in the world from bell to bell. He is that talented, but he's never going to Samuel Rivera saying Dom is better than JD McDonough. No, absolutely not. Dominic Mysterio, Conrad, you can let me know. I don't think Dominic Mysterio is better than JD McDonough bell to bell.
Not in ring, but right. I think Dominic Mysterio but he has more marketing potential. But
right, and at the end of the day, Dominic Mysterio would be more. To be clear, Dominic Mysterio would have a better opportunity to be a WWE World Champion because his character is better. But when you talk about bell to bell, when you talk about from the time the bell rings to the time the bell rings again, from music to music, if you want to put it that way, JD McDonough is a fantastic wrestler. Unfortunately, he
sat under the learning tree of Shawn Michaels in NXT when he ran NXT UK. Like he knows.
Right, and I see Sammy Rivera also talking about it. He said, if I wanted wrestling, I would buy Ring of Honor DVDs. Okay, that's fine. So you're basically agreeing with me by accident. You're saying that you're big on character development, and that's fine. And from a character standpoint, JD McDonough is terrible because WWE has booked him that way, Conrad.
Right, he's just a side guy in the Judgment Day.
Yeah. So, Danhausen wins with the help of Karl Anthony Towns. It was fine.
Yeah. I don't think I got an updated graphic for this, but was Bailey and Lyra next?
Yeah, you had a situation where Bailey, we all know how, recently Lyra Valkyria turned on her, came out the following week with a little bit of, Victoria running through my head kind of vibes.
Looking unwashed.
Right.
What is this?
Right. So, I mean, I don't really have much to say about this match. It was pretty much predictable. You're not going to have Lyra Valkyria turn heel in the fashion that she did and then come out in her first high-profile match and lose. So, I mean, they made the right decision in that regard. My point is, what's it all going to mean moving forward? I mean, Bailey continues to lose pay-per-view, PLE-ish matches. Lyra Valkyria gets a win. What's it going to lead to? I don't know. But Lyra Valkyria wins. I don't really have much on this one because I saw it bell to bell, but I mean, it's forgettable because to me, I don't know what it's going to mean moving forward.
So someone said something and I got an impression from it. After the match, I guess Bailey got like slammed on the steps or something. Some type of move was done to her on the steps.
Mm-hmm.
Is Bailey written off television, do you think, from that? Is that how they sold it? Like she's done?
That power bomb or that move that turned into power bomb-ish, it is one of those moves where Bailey could be written off of television. I mean, obviously we'll find out what happens tonight, but it is one of those moves where you can see Bailey being away for a month or two, yes.
Goes back to that cryptic Mercedes post who put something about Wrestle Dream.
Right.
Mighty funny that'll be around the same time Sheamus' contract is up too, October 1st. So
there you go.
Things to just peep and keep your eye on. I'm not saying it's happening. Maybe they'll find a way to dangle that carrot once again and say, "Come on, stay with us. You're better off here."
Mm-hmm.
Hey, are you? Or should you just take a stab at something else?
Right.
Just go for it. But good for Lyra. We'll see what this means. Do you have any hope for Lyra moving up in the future again? Like they kind of had her on that higher trajectory, and then they were like, "Nah."
I don't, and that's what bothers me. Am I the biggest Lyra fan? No. Do I believe she's a talented person that can be packaged in a way that could get her to a point of success? Yes. But I don't think WWE has the knowledge ability to do that. I think WWE fumbles more than they score. And I think this is going to be another fumble. They fumbled Bailey. I mean, thank God Bailey got where she got years ago because Bailey, you might as well say Bailey's WWE career is over as it relates to her being a high-profile championship-level wrestler. That's over. Lyra Valkyria is the first ever women's intercontinental champion. That is something that she could put in her hat. She has defeated Becky Lynch on one occasion. That's something that she could put in her hat. But I think it's a fumble for the most part. I think Lyra Valkyria is never going to ascend to any higher than where she is today. She's going to be one of those women that maybe qualifies, and maybe as early as tonight, maybe she'll qualify for the interim WWE Championship ladder match. She might be a woman that qualifies for the Queen of the Ring tournament. She might be a woman that qualifies for Women's Money in the Bank, and she'll be the woman that does not win.
Do we sandwich that in here? I mean, we didn't have to go super duper long, so maybe we sandwich this in the news. But I'm going to bring it up now.
Right.
Rhea Ripley.
Exactly.
Breaking news, due to Rhea Ripley's injury, an interim WWE Women's Champion will be crowned in a ladder match at SummerSlam. It sounds like they're doing the interim championship thing. I got to admit, Sean, I don't like when AEW does it. I don't like WWE doing it. I don't like when UFC does it. I think it's whack, personally. Like, here's a title, you're holding it until the next person gets back. I know they do it in boxing and UFC. I understand that. I just don't think it works as well in wrestling for sure. Like, nah. Just crown a new champion.
It's tough. You got SummerSlam, which is universally recognized as the biggest show in WWE's calendar outside of WrestleMania. You want all the championships, at least the high-profile championships, to be highlighted. You get to the 11th hour, you find out that Rhea's not going to make it, right? So what do? You want to have a championship match you want to have something that at least looks like it means something. I understand what you're trying to say. It's kind of like being thirsty and drinking lukewarm water, right? So the lukewarm water is like you're going to have an interim champion. And then that interim champion winning is going to lead to a title versus title match when Rhea gets back. The only good part is that I feel that it's dope that A, we're going to have a ladder match. It's always good to see a ladder match. And B, Rhea is probably going to be back sooner than later, because if she weren't going to be back for a long time, then this would be just outright for the vacant WWE Women's Championship. I'm thinking that it's going to be Rhea versus the winner of this ladder match probably by September or October.
So you think it's going to be no more than 2 months, and then Rhea will be back and be challenging for the title?
Yeah, and I'm not saying that like I'm some big Nostradamus story, like a future teller, like I'm Mr. Analyst. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it because to me it's a little bit of common sense. My logic, and I think it's just elementary logic, I'm not looking for a pat on the back here. If Rhea was going to be gone for a super extended amount of time, they would not be having an interim championship match. Interim championship matches in boxing, MMA, and now in pro wrestling are for the interim champion to face the returning legitimate champion when that time comes. And in wrestling, we know that you can't be out for 6 months like in boxing, where you're going to hold on to a championship and just people are going to forget about it unless your name is Brock Lesnar, right? So in this case, I'm just using cognitive thinking to believe that Rhea should be back in a month.
Okay.
I feel like I feel like I am being very analytical and on the money today. Am I?
Yeah. Look at Clown came in with some old school. Back in my day, you had 30 days to defend your title. This is when we had house shows too.
There you go.
If you couldn't, it gets stripped. Do you know who doesn't play about stripping titles? New Japan. New Japan will strip you if you have a cold and you can't make it. If you're like, can't make it, give up the belt. What? Yeah. I can be there Tuesday. Give up the belt. It's done.
Now, the thing that I think is very important is how they handle the title versus title match that seems to be coming down the pike. If Tiffany wins, if Jade didn't qualify.
I think she did, right? She beat Nia, right?
So Jade went, and she won by disqualification. Excuse me, you're right. So if Jade wins, if Tiffany wins, if Lyra, I'm throwing Lyra in there as a prediction. She'll probably get in. Whoever wins, you got to be careful with how you book them once Rhea comes back, because they're going to be carrying around that belt, and it's going to lead to title for title. So whoever the interim champion is, do you automatically disqualify them to beat Rhea? Like, is Rhea just going to come back and restake her claim as the world champion? Or is the interim champion, whoever she may be, going to take that title, put it up against Rhea's title, and then beat Rhea? That's the question I have.
Things will definitely get interesting for it, and I want to see how they do that. Clay, what's good, man? Welcome in, Deanna. I know I didn't give you a shout out either since you came in, but welcome everybody. Come on in. Like I said, join the conversation.
Right.
We were just talking a little Rhea Ripley there.
Yeah, shout out to Kevin Abreu. Don't give WWE that much credit when it comes to sticking to what they say. For people who can't see on or can't hear or see on the screen, Kevin Abreu makes a strong point, which is it's supposed to be only SmackDown roster available for this interim ladder match. Obafemi was supposed to get a title shot because of winning King of the Ring. Hashtag what draft, as per my friend Conrad Cushman. So I'll believe it when I see it.
Also, Kevin asked, do we think WWE fumbled Jordynne Grace?
Probably. I mean, I'm not a big Jordynne Grace fan, but if you want to say they fumbled her, I guess.
She hasn't been given a fair shake, I'll say.
I mean, she's on the main roster, right? We never see her.
Yeah. Ray Thompson says, what if Naomi returns and wins? LOL. I'm not sure if the timeline would line up, but can't remember when she stepped away.
Right. It could be. I mean, she should. The baby is born. The baby is here. So it's just a matter of how much maternity leave she wants to take. I believe the baby is a couple months old. So, she could want to take 3 months. Some parents want to take 6 months. She might want to take a year. I mean, it's really, really up in the air when Naomi comes back. I would assume WWE is not completely heartless and cold and have said to her, I would pray it'd be something along the lines of, whenever you're ready, you can come back. So it's going to be up to Naomi. Does Naomi want to take 3 months? Does Naomi want to wait a year? Does Naomi want to wait a year and a half? I would predict she'll be back around Royal Rumble time.
Interesting. Going back into it, I guess we're at the main event.
Well, it's not the main event because the main event's the last segment of the show. So
the main event match,
the co-main event of the evening, pitted Sami Zayn, the last real good guy, with Gunther going up against WWE champion CM Punk and former champion Cody Rhodes. Actually, all members of this match are former champions. It was announced on SmackDown that this match had been changed to a match where if Sami and Gunther were to win the match, they would be added to the SummerSlam main event, where it would then become a fatal four-way match. We'll jump all the way to the end and say that Sami and Gunther were not successful. The issue that took place that I want to highlight are a couple of things. Number one, Conrad, Nick Aldis did return as predicted. He actually interrupted the cover, as our executive producer Conrad is right on the money with the graphics. Gunther had had Cody pinned after hitting him in the head with the title belt and after a power bomb. However, after Nick Aldis pulled the referee out, Gunther basically would confront Nick Aldis, who then hit Gunther in the head. That would lead to a GTS by CM Punk. CM Punk would then drag Cody Rhodes on top of Gunther for the victory. The biggest thing to me is a couple of things. Number one, Sami Zayn. I told you Sami Zayn would be forgotten. I'm not happy to say that, but that's exactly what it's going to be. Sami Zayn may never be WWE champion again. That's really a shame. I hope I'm wrong. Next, you had CM Punk and Cody Rhodes seemingly on the same page. You had CM Punk and Cody Rhodes seemingly with the brotherhood intact. They hugged each other. They congratulated each other. You could see CM Punk mouthing the words, "It's one-on-one. We're going to keep it one-on-one. We're going to SummerSlam. May the best man win," kind of corny vibes. CM Punk, after the embrace with Cody Rhodes, has the belt. He throws it over his shoulder. For anybody who has any knowledge of professional wrestling, such as myself, Conrad, this very educated chat, you can see that was done on purpose. But he threw it over his shoulder, hits Cody Rhodes, kind of slashes Cody Rhodes in the face. Cody Rhodes, you can see Cody Rhodes like, "What's up with that?" The show goes off the air. WWE, I got to give WWE credit, very smartly, has a clip that takes place in the backstage area. Interview with CM Punk to discuss the victory. Cody Rhodes interrupts the interview. Cody Rhodes is, of course, polite as always, letting Jackie know, "I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I have to ask CM Punk a question." CM Punk's like, "What's going on?" Cody Rhodes says, "Hey, you hit me in the head with a belt. Was that an accident?" Didn't seem like an accident. What? And of course, CM Punk's like, "What are you talking about? Of course it was an accident. I didn't know I hit you. If I hit you, I'm sorry. I apologize." It was only like a 1-minute video, but it just set the stage for some contention between Cody and CM Punk. Could we be on the verge, Conrad? Speculation time. Could we be on the verge of finally seeing one of these two guys turn heel? Could we be on the verge of, us finally seeing what we should have saw probably a year ago, which is Cody Rhodes being tired of kissing? And by the way, at Saturday night's main event, he literally was kissing and hugging babies. He literally was hugging grandmas, and he literally was playing to the crowd like a blithering idiot. I'm hoping to God that this version of Cody Rhodes, he was OD with it, Conrad. He was OD with playing to the crowd and kissing and hugging the babies. I'm praying that he went over the top and went super crazy with the Gaga babyface stuff, that this is going to lead to him turning heel. If not, then be prepared for a whole lot more corn from Corny Rhodes.
Corny Rhodes is a Sean exclusive. Yeah, Cody came across very funny. I thought the segment was smart. In a 2-minute segment, you spent 1 minute of context, and then the rest was just swearing and confusion and "Get that camera out of here. What are you doing?" And he's trying to put the camera down to keep it on him, and then "Get that camera out of here. All right, you're out of here. Everybody out. And then chaos ensues. I like that they've added some drama and levity to the situation. I feel like this might. I don't. Sean, this is gonna sound weird. SummerSlam '92. I always reference this show because I love it.
Right.
It feels like Ultimate Warrior Macho Man type stuff with Gunther and Sammy playing Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect.
So whose corner is Sami Zayn in?
Whose side are you on, dude? Huh? I can feel it. And then we're probably going to see them both stomp them out and continue on, and maybe they'll do that 4-way after the fact. But yeah, it's going to be difficult to see where this is going. I don't know if someone turns. I want to say yes. My heart wants to believe it, but internally I feel like, nah, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, Corny Rhodes versus Phony Phil.
Hey.
Wow.
Hey, I mean, to me, in chat, let me know first of all, let me know if you guys saw Saturday's main event. And secondly, I want you guys to comment on what I just told Conrad. Conrad was out doing something a lot more constructive than watching a corny Saturday night's main event show. So God bless him. But I want the chat to let me know, was it just me or was Cody Rhodes extra babyface on Saturday night? I mean, because I saw him kiss and hug at least 2 kids on the way to the ring. I was like, wow, now we're really Conrad, it's like now we're really going crazy now. It's like, it was bad. It was like on Saturday night, Conrad, it was bad. It was like, oh my God, like he stopped and hugged like 3 kids.
Laying it on thick. And someone mentioned that there was like a SummerSlam kickoff thing yesterday. That is true. And Sean, it was made official after Gunther had, I don't know what he did to Nick Aldis. He put him down though. And
it was a kick to the gut and then a punch to the head with a headlock.
Which he probably deserved. I'm tired of saying this for the heels. Why are you interfering in my matches? You're supposed to be unbiased.
Right.
And it's been made official now. Gunther, Nick Aldis back in the ring. If you have never seen Nick Aldis wrestle, if he can still go like he did in NWA and TNA and everywhere else he's been, you're in for a treat, is what I'll tell you. Right. I'm happy he's getting his moment, and he is one of the youngest wrestlers on the card. Not that I care about this at all.
Just people don't realize Nick Aldis is still in his 30s.
He's our age. Like Nick Aldis and he's the youngest, so we'd be the youngest people.
No, he's your age. I'm 40 now.
He's in between us.
I'm putting you over, bro. You're the younger guy.
I'll take it. But he's out there. He's going to get his chance to live out his dream. And you know what I say to that? Good for him. Yeah. Like I can't be mad at a guy for wanting to do that.
Absolutely.
So do your thing, brother. And yeah, do that. Yeah, I don't have anything else on this segment, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, to put
someone heel
on it, it was a good idea. But I know people are thinking it's like, is Sean okay? He's giving WWE credit for it. Look, for all the corny Rhodes, CORNY Rhodes comments, for all the, hypocrisy Phil, phony Phil, to steal the phrase from our good friend, the only Vinny we like. There's a lot of things to make fun of and to be sad about when it comes to this show. Stephanie interviewing Oba for no good reason. A very poorly wrestled women's tag team match. A very poorly booked Bayley versus Lyra match because Lyra's being underutilized. A lot of things to talk about. The stupid thing where Cody Rhodes gets hit in the face with the belt while Phil Brooks is throwing it over his shoulder. Whatever. But adding the stipulation that the title shot would be on the line by adding 2 more guys was good. It was kind of cool for me, at least for me, because I like Nick Aldis and I remember Nick Aldis. I liked seeing Nick Aldis interfere in the match. I mean, it was what it was, but I think as we get ready to transition into the main event segment of the night, I think that it's sad, and this is coming from a true blue and orange Knicks fan my entire life, who is still floating on cloud 9 as the New York Knicks are now the reigning and defending NBA champions. It's a shame that a match with Cody and Sammy and Gunther and CM Punk was the co-main event behind a non-wrestling segment. Jalen Brunson, the new king of New York, and I do not think that's hyperbole. I think that is actually true. In the ring with the tribal chief, as they celebrate the New York Knicks' first championship since 1973 in 53 years. Roman Reigns, who is universally recognized, in my opinion, you can disagree if you want, as the number one champion in WWE, whether it's Phil Brooks holding the WWE Championship or Cody Rhodes, makes no difference to me. It was a really cool segment, but I will be fair. It's really cool, Conrad Cushman, because I'm a Knicks fan. Now, I'm going to step out of being a Knicks fan. I'm going to step out of being the guy that was able to shake Josh Hart's hand 24 hours after winning an NBA championship. I'm going to step out of my fandom and my excitement after being in a VIP section. Shout out to my homeboy who I do boxing promotion with. Being in a VIP section up private elevator during the New York Knicks parade after they won the title. Like a memory I'll always remember for the rest of my life. And my lady, by the way. I'm stepping outside of that, and I'm acting as if, always remember, Knicks all day, Knicks forever. I'm acting as if I'm not a Knicks fan. Now, if I'm not a Knicks fan, that was the stupidest crap I have ever seen. If I am not Sean Hubbard and a lifelong Knicks fan, I want to make this very, very clear to the chat and to my brother Conrad Cushman. If I wasn't a die-hard Knicks fan from my whole life, ecstatic and exuberant over the fact that the New York Knicks are now the NBA world champions for the first time in 53 years, for the first time since Conrad Cushman or Sean Hubbard were thoughts in our mother's minds, that would have been the stupidest crap I've ever seen and a disgrace to pro wrestling. Saturday night's main event, Conrad Cushman, may I continue? Saturday night's main event. The same event, whether you want to call it the main event or Saturday night's main event. The same event that had the most highly rated match in professional wrestling history on television. Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan for the WWE Championship back in 1988. The same show that saw the Mega Powers explode in front of the world. The same show that had the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, defeat the British Bulldog to win his first championship in WWE. Saturday night's main event, the same show that saw a team like the Brainbusters become the first team or the first wrestlers ever in Saturday night's main event history to win a championship, first title change in Saturday night's history, where they defeated Demolition with the help of Andre the Giant, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and a steel chair. That event, its main event, was a basketball celebration in the middle of the ring. That's really bad if you're not a Knicks fan. Conrad, the floor is yours.
Yeah. So my understanding of the segment was people said there was a lot of glazing. I happened to walk in on the last shot that I have here for this, but I missed all of this with Seth Rollins. Mm-hmm. Why is Seth Rollins with Tyrese Halliburton?
Well, because Tyrese Halliburton is a Knick hater. And you know what? I would even say, put the camera back on me, brother. I would even say, Conrad, because I want the floor is definitely yours after I say this. I would even say that Tyrese Halliburton might be the equivalent of Seth Rollins. An all-star, a world caliber athlete that is just not as good as Jalen Brunson. Seth Rollins, a world champion caliber wrestler who's just not as good as Roman Reigns. That does make a little bit of sense to me.
Isn't Seth a face?
Seth is supposed to be a face. But Roman Reigns, we don't know what Roman Reigns is.
He didn't endear himself to this audience, is what I'll say by doing that.
Right.
And him coming out in all black, like it's all starting to make sense. Like I told you, I've dug the threads and the attires. Seth tried to make his claim known against Roman. This is that long-time feud that they've been talking about. And they ended up, Roman and Jalen Brunson clearing the ring. He gets pieced up, and they exchange championships, and they pose in the ring. And as you can see, it was a rough night for Roman because his hair was taken out. So it was a rough night for him. But that's how they ended. And I was just like,
Conrad, I would love for you to give your detailed assessment of my breakdown of that situation. Again, if I was not a Nick fan, go right ahead.
No, I think that you were being fair when it comes to it. The chat, I haven't seen it. Did anybody in the chat like this segment?
If you're not a Nick fan, I know Emleezy's a Nick fan. I believe that Sir Quills is a Nick fan, if I'm not mistaken. If you're a Nick fan, you probably love the segment. I loved it because I'm a Nick fan. That's the only reason.
Yeah. You know what,
Conrad, I want you to unleash, because if you feel like this segment was garbage, give it to me.
I can't say it because I didn't fully watch it. See, I don't talk crap about stuff that I didn't watch usually. If I watched it, I'll give it the business. But
gotcha.
Listen, you're in New York City. What's the hottest stuff going on in New York City right now?
The Knicks.
That and these great shirts that you can get at Threadless. If you guys go over there, and if you are a fan, you guys can get some of Sean's merch here at his official merchandise shop. But I kid, I digress. I had to chill a little bit.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, the purpose of this was, though, I can understand why they wanted to do this, because that clip's going to get played on SportsCenter.
Right.
It is going to get people talking like, why is Roman Reigns with him? Now, if you did a tag match, that might be better, but you're not doing that. Jalen Brunson, if you watch basketball, you know his wrist is busted. Like he's healing right now, so that's not going to happen. I think Halliburton's he's still healing from the ACL. I don't even know if he's fully ready, but he should be.
You said Tyrese Halliburton?
Yeah, is he fully healed?
He's ready. That year off, he's ready.
Okay, so he should be back too, but they're not going to do a match. The days of Dennis Rodman and Karl Malone and Jay Leno and all, it's over. Mm-hmm. They're not doing that anymore. Dennis Rodman wasn't showing up to practice to go do this stuff. They're done with that. So, you know what? If it worked, it worked, and if it didn't, it didn't. That's the best way I could put it when it comes to this. If you enjoyed it, then you enjoyed it, and if you didn't, hey, I will
say this. As a Knicks fan, I loved it, but I was shocked, and I mean shocked, when I realized that Cody and Punk and Gunther and Sammy were coming out. I was like, wait a minute. They're going to have the Brunson and Roman segment main event. I was very surprised by that.
Yeah. Miracle said Seth had to play heel due to the nature of the segment. You got to be careful, though, because now tonight on Raw, what if people are like, oh, you're the bad guy, so I'm supposed to boo you? Now you've changed Seth's complete character for one segment, one night in one place. Just be careful if that's not what you want to do, because you might execute turning him heel.
I misrepresented my good friend Sir Quills. I have to acknowledge I misrepresented him. He says, I'm not a Nick fan, but this segment was cool. And for what it was basically Nick's acknowledgement with Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm actually a Bulls and Hawk fan. I apologize, my brother. I did not know. I thought you were a Nick fan, but I appreciate you keeping it real with me.
Yeah. Alexa Bliss Gamer came up with an interesting thought. It was, but it could have been a dark segment.
That's tough. You can't have a dark. JB was announced, bro. Jay-Z. I'm sorry, Alexa. JB was announced. You know, if he was announced, you got to put him on TV.
I think you don't have a segment like that in New York City at this time. And I don't know if you're from the city or if you're from New York. I'm in Buffalo. Sean's in New York City. Yeah. But there's a difference here, because if you have that cachet, you do it. You go for it. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna say Jalen Brunson's gonna be there. Karl-Anthony Towns is gonna be there. I would be like, Latrell Sprewell might show up. Right. I don't care who's gonna be there. I'll have all the former Knicks, anybody. Spike Lee might be here. The cast of Crooklyn might be here. Whoever we can get to make this hyped up, let's do it. So dark segment, yes, but I still would have announced it and said that they were gonna be there for it. But I hear you. I just think with less house shows, you got to take advantage of that too.
To piggyback off of something that M. Leasy said, and honestly, I think even though you didn't see it, I think you're pretty much articulating everything pretty solidly, Conrad. This segment was fine. Let me go on record. Even as a Knicks fan, I'm not gonna jump into my Knicks fan. This segment was fine. You know what it needed to be? It needed to be the co-main event. That's all. That it would have been perfectly fine. All you had to do was not make it I think most people in chat, let me know what you think. Is the uproar because of how Jalen Brunson and the Knicks were highlighted in Madison Square Garden? Because you pretty much knew that was going to happen. As a Knicks fan, I can tell you, 53 years, the whole world is embracing this team because of 53 years. It was amazing, right? But my question, is it simply that, or is it, maybe it shouldn't have been the main event? That's pretty much the bottom line.
Yeah. And I think it comes down to as well, I would say 50. I don't know. I'm guessing. I'm throwing out a fake number here, Sean. I would say 50% of the wrestling audience watches sports and the other 50% doesn't.
Okay. So you're saying there's people out there that were like, who's Jalen Brunson?
Right. We are sports guys. So
right.
If you don't care about basketball, and there's some people, I only care about football. I've heard people say it about the soccer this week. Like, I don't care about any of this. I like soccer, though. I can watch most sports. I'll watch badminton. I think all sports can be fun to a degree for the most part.
Right.
If you don't dig it though, you're not gonna be into it, and that might be what we're seeing here with the situation.
I want to give you your flowers, Conrad, because I didn't even think about that. I can only imagine now that you brought that to my attention. I'm just sitting back here and I'm imagining, even though it's hard for me to imagine, me not being a sports fan and sitting in that arena. Sitting in Madison Square Garden for a professional wrestling show, and 20 minutes in the main event segment is dedicated to Jalen Brunson, I probably would have been pissed.
Yeah. Matt says that the uproar was where it was placed. It should have been in the opening or the middle instead of at the end. Right. I can understand that. And then Kevin says if the Knicks do not win a championship, can Saturday night's main event even happen?
It would have happened, but it wouldn't have been centered around the Knicks.
Yeah. If you're a Spurs fan, you hate to see it. That's probably true for Spurs fans. Delayed Gratz, what's good? What's good?
I want to piggyback, and then we can move on, Conrad Cushman. I want to piggyback off of what Vinny just said. And I want to ask you, obviously Spurs fans hated it, but here's the biggest question. Did all NBA fans except Knicks fans hate it? That's the question. Did a random Minnesota Timberwolves fan look at that segment and say, "Oh, this is bullcrap," or did they enjoy it?
I think it depends on what level of a fan you are, because as you know me, I am a Timberwolves fan, which I'm hoping that's why you said that. But if you look at it,
I didn't say it by accident.
yeah. I'm really and really for basketball, I'm more of a fan of like the players versus the teams. Like I was a huge Kevin Garnett fan growing up as a kid.
Well, I also know that you like the Timberwolves. That's why I said it.
Yeah. And when you look at it though, as a Timberwolves fan, I love the NBA getting props for doing stuff like, oh, okay, that's cool. They're getting some more recognition too. All right, I could dig that. I could definitely get down with that. So, but how would a Celtics fan who hates the Knicks feel about it? I think Sam just said I'm a Knicks fan and I didn't like it. Okay. I'm a Knicks fan and it was the greatest segment since Sean threw Marty through the glass.
Yo, my man Guy will gamble.
But he said, yeah, it probably should have been before the main event.
Right.
Yeah, if you're the Spurs fan, Knicks rival, you hate it. It's WWE. It is what it is. I'm a Lakers fan. I could care less. Knicks glazing didn't make me watch Saturday night's main event over Collision. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, get ready for LaMelo Ball.
There you go.
It's what it is, bro. It is what it is. Conrad's, I am a Wally Zerbiak fan. I can say that name right. Yeah, I know Wally. I was a big fan. Sam Cassell, Latrell Sprewell. Those were our golden years. Should have beat the Lakers.
Anthony Peeler was on that team.
Trenton Hassel, one of the best defenders in the NBA that year.
There you go.
Come on now.
Nice.
Hate to break it to everybody, but LeBron's not going to Minnesota. I don't care where he goes. LeBron's not my GOAT. I'll say something controversial right now. He ain't the GOAT to me. That's just my opinion.
He is not. He is not better than Michael Jordan. Period.
Yeah. Let's see. Jocelyn said, as a basketball fan, not watching the show, it didn't bother me. Now that should have been on the pre-show. Okay, so see, it's kind of like what Matt said then. People were just saying it should have been here.
Mm-hmm.
We like Wally here in New York. He's on the Knicks telecast. Yeah, I heard he's doing like broadcasting stuff.
Yeah, he's actually a New York guy. He obviously played in Cleveland and played in Minnesota, but he's a New York guy.
Oh, I got delayed grats. If you ever message me on the side, I will show you a video that I always send everyone when we have the GOAT debate. And usually it'll either end it or it gets real quiet after I send that video. Have fun watching the Mavs is all I'm going to tell people. Count those blow-bys.
Wow.
Jason Terry to the rim. Like, what is this?
Oh, and since we're talking about basketball, I want to take 2 minutes. Conrad, I mean this is not hyperbole. I mean this from the bottom of my mouth. Who the heck does LeBron James think he is? I am so sick of him. He's doing another. I'm not saying he's going to do another ESPN special, but he's taking the longest out of all the free agents to let people know. Does he not know that he's 41 years old?
I don't think he cares. I think he knows he's got the league in his palm.
Oh man, I'm disgusted. You know who I'm disgusted with more than LeBron? All the teams that are chasing after LeBron, letting him sit up here and basically monopolize the whole free agent period. I'm sick of it.
He comes with power.
Yeah, just pick a team and sit down somewhere, you loser.
We'll see. They say it's not about money, but we're going to find out real quick. Let me see here. Yeah, Jared Dudley is your goal.
Wow.
Jordan, Kobe, then I don't know. Halliburton asked LeBron to come to Indiana. He told him no. What the heck is going on? They main evented the segment so those crazy Knicks fans wouldn't hijack the main event of the match. LOL.
Oh, Lord.
Larry Bird. LeBron's ego is bigger than Roman's. LeBron is holding up the free agent moves.
That's correct, delayed grats.
I don't want LeBron in New York. I don't know where he fits or where he goes. Like,
I think LeBron's going to end up cherry picking. I think LeBron's going to go to Philly to join Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey and Embiid, and they're going to try and win it over there.
We'll see. East is gonna be tougher this year, I think, too.
It's gonna be. I'm glad the Knicks won last year because honestly, I think the Spurs are gonna come right back.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction though. I think the Knicks make the playoffs, but I don't think the Knicks make it out of the Eastern Conference Championship.
Well, it's funny you say that because if I had to put my feet to the fire, I'm actually predicting the Knicks go back to the Eastern Conference Finals and they probably lose this year. I don't think the Knicks. Yeah. I don't think the Knicks will have enough. If LeBron joins, as much as I hate LeBron, I don't hate anybody. As much as I severely dislike LeBron, if LeBron joins up with Jaylen Brown and Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey and VJ Hedgecomb, I don't think anybody's beating the 76ers unless somebody gets hurt.
Look at Rob. He said he was calculated. He waited till the end of the World Cup, so now he's got the focus.
Yo, Rob, I mean, for real, though, but it's sickening now. It's absolutely sickening now. And it's like LeBron is sitting up here saying he's not going to chase rings, but you know something? He's either going to join up with Brown and Maxey and Embiid and Holt and Hedgecomb in Philly, or he's going to join up with the Greek Freak in Miami, or he's going to join up with Steph out in Golden State.
Miami has no money. Miami
doesn't need money. Wherever LeBron goes, he's going to sign for league minimum.
It's going to be tough. LeBron's coming to Philly. LeBron is a punk, so he can't handle playing in MSG. 29 teams don't go after Kawhi Leonard. I don't even know if that thing's official after the Toronto trade. That's been a mess, too.
Yeah, that's facts.
We don't want him here like Tristan Thompson showed up for 2 weeks. Woo.
Yeah. What else we got, Conrad?
Let's keep it moving.
Yep.
Let's talk some news real quick. AJ Styles calls for WWE to revive wrestling in Japan. I'm putting this under what? What are you talking about, AJ Styles? Do you feel these comments are disrespectful towards New Japan Pro Wrestling that's been around for years? Noah, Dragon Gate, AJPW. Like, there's a lot of other wrestling promotions in Japan.
To answer Kevin Abreu, the answer to that question is no. And to answer Conrad Cushman, how can it be seen as anything but a slap in the face to New Japan? What does that even mean? Revive wrestling in Japan? That's a slap in the face to New Japan. I'm sorry, did New Japan change locations?
And WWE style doesn't work for everyone. I think I just said something in the chat. It might have been to Sam. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But they said something about like, well, they make the most money. My logic that I'll always go to, I think me, Rob, everyone uses this. McDonald's sells hamburgers.
Mm-hmm.
They make the most money. Sean, is that the best hamburger you've ever had in your life?
No, it is not.
WWE makes the most money in pro wrestling. Is that the best pro wrestling you could see? Probably not, is how I feel. I know they make a lot of money. I probably contributed to it. I'm probably disappointed that I've contributed to it so much. I wish more people would be willing to back away like we have.
Yep.
But they won't because they love pro wrestling, and I understand that. I am not a WWE like, oh, everything they do is perfect, or oh, I can't turn away from this. I've learned. They pushed me away, I feel, is the best way I can put it.
Absolutely, brother.
But are they going to revive Japan? Yeah.
But we need to focus on the comment. Like, I know what you're talking about, the analytics of can they revive Japan?
Not even that. Does Japan want that style of wrestling? Do you want WWE style?
No, but let's talk. But what I'm saying, we should talk about the fact of how now AJ Styles has, in my opinion, probably alienated himself from the entire New Japan community with what he said.
Possibly. If they feel that way.
I mean, AJ Styles cut his teeth in New Japan. It's arguable, I understand, arguable. Don't jump on me. I'm saying arguable that his best days were in Japan. And that's a slap in the face, Conrad, to New Japan Pro Wrestling. If I were in New Japan, I'd be offended.
Right. Thank you, Delay. He said this is the same point AEW fans have been making for 7 years. I'm still here. Actually, at this point, it might be 7 years. Yeah, dang, that's a lot of time. And Matt, there's nothing wrong with you being knowledgeable about WWE and watching the programming. That's fine because we sit up here and we talk about it. And obviously, there's an audience that want me and Sean to talk about it. If you look at our numbers on a weekly basis, that's fine. I don't mind talking about WWE. What I'm saying is, you got to call them when it's time to call them too.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to be honest. We're not falling for this. Oh, this podcast is not biased towards this. Bruh, like, come. Did anyone notice Tommy Dreamer on Busted Open? AEW's firing on all cylinders right now. You could not hear a mouse in their radio production room doing Busted Open talk about AEW sometimes. And now they're firing on all cylinders. Where you going, Tommy? What are you trying to do, Tommy?
Talk about it, bro.
I digress, bro. I digress. And
I'm very surprised. I don't want to steal the thunder from people like Miracle and M. Leezy, so I want to give them credit. I'm shocked that AJ would say something like that.
That's what happens when you start getting the retirement check. You start seeing people, and it's just, maybe.
You sold out.
I bought in.
How do you say you sold out in Japanese? Somebody look that up for me.
Ask AAA. I mean, look at what AAA's become. AAA's not the same AAA.
It's certainly not.
I used to watch AAA on Twitch when it was bad, but it was funny, and I would just laugh watching it. I think one time you heard Vampiro fart on the microphone, and you could hear it through commentary. Yeah, like it was bad. It was bad. And then him saying like, "Play my music" because they forgot to play it. It was AAA used to just be wild, and they were the alternative to Lucha Libre, which was CMLL. Look at them now. They've just become WWE Light. And I get it. They're selling the most tickets they ever have. That bubble will burst. This is pro wrestling. You are not going to stay high and mighty for all this time, and nothing can take you down. It goes up. It goes down. You wait for it to go back up again. And how long that takes is up to you sometimes.
There you go.
Look at NXT UK. A valid point, Matt. What happens when they're like, you know what? We don't have enough money for this. Cut them loose. Now you don't have New Japan anymore. Now you don't have those independents over in NXT UK. They're taking over the ID talent. WWE's taking over the wrestling world. How do you preserve that?
Talk about it, brother.
We're in like a wrestling war kind of who's aligned with who. Just peep game. That's all I'm saying. Be smart with your decision making. You like records being broke, right?
I do.
What have I told you? Athena is now 1,317 days as ROH Women's World Champion. I'm sorry, Roman. It's been done.
So that must mean that Athena is better than Roman Reigns, right?
It's here. We're here at that point.
By the way, if anybody is at all confused about the way I just sounded, yes, that was extreme sarcasm.
I'm not mad at it either, though. Like,
I'm not mad at it, but I mean, what does that really mean?
What, that she's that? What did the Universal title mean? You know, like what is that?
Roman Reigns is kind of him, bro. I mean, Athena's grown on me. She's her too, but I mean,
what I want to understand, Sean, is the logic behind how was Roman booed and not him. One slight character change, and then he's everyone's bee's knees now. Like
because other than Conrad Cushman, everybody thought the big dog was corny.
Yes. Where's the foresight, people? It's not just that character, though. I can see good through the character. I'm like, that guy, like, Claudio's good. Claudio is better than everything they ever gave him. Cesaro.
Right. True.
Like, he was better than any of that. So
no argument there.
I'll digress. Speeding through this, we do have new trios champions in Stardom. They are the Triangle of Madness. Congrats to them for gaining those titles. Tekla is there to wreak havoc on Stardom, and she has continued to do so since she has made that promise. So things getting insane over there. But
mark my words. Blue, she is a future. She's
there's something there.
She's for real. There's something about, I can't put my finger on it, but there's something special about that young lady.
Now, I want to quickly talk about this segment, Sean, and I'll probably skip over this card so we can get right in the dark side of the ring, but I just want to talk about this one segment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to talk about people doing this week, and I think Brian Alvarez was one of them who mentioned it. There's been a lot of complaining about how AEW is doing things, despite their ratings are up, things like that. Very interesting. Kevin Knight is put into the main event. If you missed Dynamite this week, go check it out. But Kevin Knight was placed into the main event with Kenny Omega, so he's getting the title shot at Redemption. Obviously, something happened with MJF. Whether he's hurt, he decided, nah, let's do the match now, get it over with so I can recover. Whatever they decided, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're getting. Maybe this is Kevin Knight's redemption because they keep talking about how he's a good guy. People complained about this, Sean. Is this not one of the guys that people said they wanted in the main event scene? So now he's getting the same chance that Kyle Fletcher got? This is what I was talking about last week when we got the question about, oh, should there be more black champions in AEW? You got to let it happen, people. You got to let it happen if it's going to happen. Don't fight against it because then, well, now we took him out of the match because the fans didn't want him there. And now it's going to be this and now it's going to be that. Maybe people aren't going to be as interested in this show. Don't buy the show. Then when you wonder why someone's not getting pushed, don't ask why.
There you go,
don't ask why. I'm just telling people 100%. And I thought Brian Alvarez, like, critiquing the show the way he did, and then it gets used by grift by other people who hate AEW, not for the actual reasons. It's not for real criticism. It's to poo-poo on the stuff that they're doing. That's a dangerous game, in my opinion. Not one that I want to play. So I just want to get your thoughts on that.
I think it's much deserved him being in the title situation. I think anybody who knows wrestling knows that there's no way he's going to win. The match is going to be Ospreay versus Omega in Wembley Stadium. However, I think that it's going to be a fantastic match at Redemption. He's going to put his name on the map, even though his name is pretty much on the map already as a TNT champion. And I think a year from now, we'll be talking about him being in the main event of maybe All In or All Out or Double or Nothing or something like that. I think this kid is the real deal, bro. Just not Redemption. There will be no redemption this time.
Yeah, and I saw people saying, like, do we think Kevin Knight's turning? No, I think this might be the beginning of something long-term for him.
Yeah.
Or he's going to double down and stay with Don Callis. He might leave Don Callis and say, you know what, this ain't the place for me. I'm going over here, or I'm going to be by myself. Let's just see what happens with it.
I predict Kevin Knight loses the world title match, Kenny Omega, and then goes on an extended title defense spree of the TNT championship, which will lead him back to a world championship match later on.
Yeah. I think he's on the same plane that Kyle Fletcher's on. and others, Konosuke Takeshita, like just peep game. Those are the guys that they're like, no, this is the future right here. I can see it. Yeah, 100%. Alvarez, WWE sucks because they rely on old guys. Alvarez, AEW sucks because they allow new guys to headline pay-per-views. Yeah, that was my point, man. You say one thing and then here comes the other thing.
Hashtag fickle.
Yeah. And we do have a card for this, which, like I said, I think we'll get more into next week if they add a match or two more. Seems like they're kind of blowing through some matches this week on the Go Home Dynamite. So we'll talk more so about that, I think, going into, what is that? The pay-per-views this upcoming week, but is there matches that interest you, Sean? Do you want to predict these real quick, or do you want to just get to Dark Side?
There's no doubt. We'll get to Dark Side, but I want to say this first. To me, it is undeniable. It is immeasurably important to see Willow Nightingale walk out of that match as the new champion. I want Willow versus Mercedes in Wembley Stadium. I think that's the marquee match. I think the story's there from when Mercedes broke her ankle. I think it can be argued that that's when her downfall began, even though she ended up winning all the titles later. It can be written about. It can be talked about. I'm not going to talk about any other match on this card except Willow. Willow needs to be the new AEW Women's Champion.
Period. Okay. I like that. Tune in Wednesday, and we'll give you guys some more of that. Here we are, though, Sean. It's time to wrap it up. Part 3. It's our world. It is Dark Side of the Ring, the battle for TNA, a.k.a. it's really the Jeff Jarrett story. Like, don't let anyone fool you.
Pretty much.
We got into the horrible years of TNA after Hogan and Bischoff have entered into the fray. And we also learned more about Jeff Jarrett's addiction habits, which I don't know if I knew about at the time. Maybe I heard something small, but I don't really remember focusing in on those things at that time.
It was hidden well.
Yeah. Well, better than Jeff Hardy, unfortunately, as they talked about in that situation. We go back to Victory Road. Let's start there at least, where they talked about Jeff Hardy being, I don't know what it was. I don't want to get in trouble for anything, but Jeff Hardy was out there, we'll just say that day. And he was outside, and he came in, and he did not look like he was prepared to wrestle.
Right.
D'Lo Brown said it best, I thought, on the show, Sean. We had a million choices that we could have made, and we picked the wrong one. They sent Jeff Hardy out there. Eric Bischoff has to do this weird little thing. I remember watching this with Rob, and it was what are they doing? And then Sting hits the finish, and Jeff Hardy's still trying to kick out. Like, he does not know that this match is not happening. They count 3. The fans are chanting, "Bull," and Sting says, "I agree. That's how you go off the air for a pay-per-view? I agree." Yep. Horrible.
Look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Jeff Hardy made a mistake. He put the company in a very uncomfortable position. But I'm going to do something that you're going to laugh. I'm going to give the old WCW and Vince Russo some credit. And you'll understand what I mean in a second. You have to have a backup plan. You have to have a backup plan. Vince Russo, Bash at the Beach 2000. He did have a little bit more time to prepare, right? Because he knew what he was going to do to Hogan that night. But Booker T and Jeff Jarrett was the backup plan. You have to be able to do things on the fly. And as much as this was Jeff Hardy's fault, right? But we all love Jeff, but Jeff Hardy had an issue, and God willing, he's better now, and he seems like he's better now, and he continues to be better. I know. I said God willing.
We hope.
If you see him walk into the ring or walking backstage or in the gorilla position and he's not right, you have to make an adjustment. So as much as I blame Jeff Hardy for that night, and I'm not piling on Jeff Hardy blames himself for that night. And he took accountability, which I respect. If Jeff Hardy takes the blame, you also have to put blame on the people that are decision makers that have to be able to adjust on the fly. Do you know WWE had Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, on standby if Andre could not wrestle at WrestleMania 3?
Yep. Quick change.
You have to be that. I want you to take the floor on this, and you can let me know what you think. I think Jeff Hardy was wrong, but I think WCW. I think TNA was not prepared.
You mean like if MJF wasn't going to wrestle in the main event, they put Kevin Knight in that main event?
There you go.
You have to have people ready at all times. I totally agree with that, Sean. And they brought in Hogan and Bischoff, and I kind of want to get your critique on this too, because I jumped over this. Mm-hmm. But the short-lived Monday Night Wars reignited, I guess you could call it, where the 6 sides, you had it, it got you nowhere. We don't need no stinking playpen, dude. Hogan gets rid of the 6-sided ring. They say they're going head-to-head after they had one show that did well as a test show on Mondays. They go up against head-to-head with Raw. It does good the first week. Second week, you know the trickle effect that it usually goes through. Down, 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 down. And then they eventually move right back by 2 months later.
Look, don't quote me on what day it was. 2010, that night, I believe it was 2010. Conrad, help me out. I believe it was 2010. That night that Brett and Sean reunited and had their one-on-one conversation that led to the hug. That was the same night that Hogan brought back the NWO to TNA. Let me tell you something, Conrad. That wasn't a bad night. Thank you, Miracle. That wasn't a bad night. But again, preparation. Similar to what I talked about when it comes to Jeff Hardy. You have to know that it's just a novelty, nostalgic moment in time. You couldn't possibly think that that was going to last. And it didn't last. And you ended up looking like a you-know-what, right? With your tail tucked between your legs, going back to Thursdays.
Yeah, I mean, they got smacked. That's basically what happened.
They definitely did.
And yeah, crazy. And E brings up, did Jeff Hardy explain why he never put the strap on Monty Brown? No, he did not. He talked about it, I think, on his podcast, but he had some excuse for why he didn't do it. I don't agree. Whatever. Jeff Jarrett should have definitely put more people over and let them run with the ball more, but I think it was his company, his money, his vision. He got the funding, I'll say, for the company, and he went with it. Mm-hmm. Once again, I think my point still stands from last week. If you didn't listen, go back to listen to me and Sean last week. Jeff Jarrett is painted like a saint in this. Jeff Jarrett is also part of the problem. It's just it's divided up differently. And they make Dixie the bad guy because Dixie couldn't speak. And as Sean articulated so well last week, you did have the chance to defend yourself, so you can't say you didn't, but you decided not to. So whatever the reason is. I see people laughing at the band. Yeah, the Nasty Boys got brought in. Val, Venus, they had a bunch of people where I was like, what are they doing? Mm-hmm. And when he leaves, how did they get Hulk Hogan to turn down money that Dixie offered? She looks stupid on TV. Yep. And then she's hugging Hogan's foot and he's walking away. Why?
Well, Dixie Carter, I don't blame Dixie Carter for everything, but I certainly blame Dixie Carter for this, because if you're going to sit down at this negotiating table, this storyline writing table, and Conrad Cushman is going to sit up here and tell me that we're going to break up Clash of the Podcast, and what we're going to do is we're going to have Sean beg to stay together while you say no. I have to, with me being the person that calls the shots, why would I agree to that? Let me tell you something. A lot of people feel sorry for Dixie Carter in that moment where she grabbed Hogan's leg when Hogan was trying to walk away and say, I quit. I don't blame Hulk Hogan for that. There's a lot of things, God rest his soul, that I blame Hulk Hogan for. And it's a list a mile long. But I do not blame Hulk Hogan for Dixie Carter grabbing his leg and making Dixie Carter look like an idiot. You know why? Because Dixie Carter agreed to it.
Yep. Sometimes you think you know more than you do. And she got caught.
If I were Dixie Carter, just sitting in the production meeting, are you stupid? I was like, I would have rather had, if I were Dixie Carter, I would be like, if I'm talking to Hogan, I'd rather you just leave without explanation than for me to sit up here and I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna grab your leg like a 4-year-old child as you pull away and leave the company. That's the plan. All right.
Right. And she ended up putting herself on TV more. I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but we didn't even get into, they didn't mention anything about the email and not Eric Bischoff, and Dixie calling someone stupid from the network on the email that they were on. Also, they said don't get rid of Vince Russo, and he's on he wasn't listed as a writer. He was a consultant still. And they were like, why is he consulting on this show when I don't want him to have anything to do with this show?
Right.
Dixie ended up costing these television deals. Anthem swoops in and buys the company, and then they call Jeff Jarrett up, who's trying to start Global Force Wrestling at the time. Jeff Jarrett selling gold bars on his website in a Ponzi scheme, possibly. Like, I don't know whatever you want to call it, but it sounded like some crazy, like, gold bars. You tell your friends, and then they tell their friends, blah, blah, blah. Jeff Jarrett gets back in with Anthem. He's drinking at the time. Karen Jarrett Angle, whatever you want to call her at the time, she is trying to get him back on track, but he's got the wrestling bug. He can't get rid of it. And Jeff Jarrett ends up it didn't work out again, basically. Sad. But Jeff Jarrett tells a crazy story in this shot about he was having a pool party the one day, and he's sitting there and he was like, yeah, I'm drinking beers. And then he looked down at his stomach and he said, I had a beer gut. And he was like, you know what? That day I decided to make a change in my life. And he's showing him dumping out the beer. And he said, I'm not going to drink beer anymore. And he's like, and then on that day I switched to vodka. And I was just like, that was like a punchline joke. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And eventually Jeff Jarrett did get on the straight and narrow after several conversations with his now wife, Karen Jarrett, and their kids and everything else. And I think Jeff Jarrett did get clean and sober. And the moment he did, he gets the call to go into the WWE Hall of Fame, spending my days working. And ever since then, it's been great since then for him. And he's in AEW.
And Conrad Cushman is my witness. I have always given Jeff Jarrett his flowers. A lot of people are very hesitant to give Jeff Jarrett his flowers. I think this is a very one-sided documentary, but again, that's Dixie Carter's fault for not coming on the air and airing her grievances the same way Jeff Jarrett did. But just think about it for a second. I know people give Jeff Jarrett a hard time. Jeff Jarrett, in the year 2000, even though WCW was kind of bad at that point, right? Was Jeff Jarrett not a worthy WCW champion in 2000? He was.
I didn't have an issue with him being in the main event at that time. Right. I thought it was him, Booker T, Sid, Scott Steiner. You had to go with new people.
Right. Was Jeff Jarrett wrong for being the TNA heavyweight champion? No. Maybe he shouldn't have been TNA champion for as long as he was because he was the booker, but him being TNA champion, NWA champion, whatever you want to call it, was not a problem. He certainly was a very credible two-time WWE Intercontinental Champion, 3-time, I think, if you take to think about the Don't Piss Me Off era. So, to me, Jeff Jarrett deserves his flowers. Jeff Jarrett, USWA, 40 years in the business. We should give Jeff Jarrett a little bit more respect. I think we kind of get our minds clouded by the fact, wow, he was the owner of TNA and he booked himself to be champion forever. Well, Triple H was married to Stephanie, on his way being married to Stephanie, and he was champion forever, especially in 2003.
Lots of similarities around that time between them, I will say.
There you go.
Daddy. Hard
times. And if you want to go old school, like I'm going to go, rest in peace, God rest his soul. Vern Gagne booked himself to be the world champion in his own company for a long time, and nobody seems to have a problem with that. So let's be real, man. Like, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And a really good point, Conrad, was made during that documentary. And I think it was by, if I'm not mistaken, either the Sinister Minister or by, I want to say Kevin, somebody said it other than Jeff. Jeff had to book himself as world champion because he wasn't sure he could trust people to not leave.
Correct. Because the moment WWE wanted you, you were gone, or, this isn't enough money for you, I'm gone. And he didn't have all the funding at the time. They didn't give credit where credit was due to, Dutch created the knockouts. Yeah, Dutch Mantel and the knockouts deserve a lot more credit than they did. I saw Velvet Sky said something too about it. Like, yeah, I think she called Dixie a coward for not going on the show and speaking on stuff. But yeah, it was good. Like I said, TNA is one of those I have a love-hate relationship with TNA. There are times where I love it, and like currently, I hate it right now. Like I'm just like whatever. They booked themselves to be champion for a long time because he could only trust himself not to leave.
Yeah. There you go. And I appreciate that, Miracle. And also, I think Eric was saying, when was this, Hubs? The 40s. I'm sure he's being funny when he says that. Vern Gagne was a champion of his own company in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah, a lot of the times the guy who was the booker, if he was in the ring, sometimes they would be the champion, or they'd be like a tag wrestler on the card. Look at like Ole Anderson, whoever you want to look at.
Since we're on this, let's stay on it for 2 more minutes and say, hey, let's give Vern Gagne credit for this. When it was time for Greg Gagne, his son, to be champion, and it didn't work, he didn't push the issue.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everyone believes in themselves too, you know.
I mean, because we all know that if you're related to somebody in the business, you got to give him the belt, right? I mean, we all know that's his son-in-law. We got to make sure that he's taken care of, right? At least Vern Gagne didn't do that. At least Vern Gagne didn't say, this is my son-in-law. And we got to make sure that he's champion like Vince did with Triple H.
Yeah. See, that he knew where I was going. Double J making excuses. He and Triple H had dueling reigns of terror. They did. They did. 03 was bad, man. That was a bad time.
You know what? You guys are gonna laugh at this, Conrad. I think Double J wasn't as bad as Triple H.
I might have to go back and rewatch some of this if
it was bad. Get a chance. It was bad, brother Conrad. It was bad, but I don't think it was bad as Triple H.
Yeah, MJB, what's good, says Dixie was her own worst enemy, but Russo and Eric were somewhat better. I will not say that. Like I said, they're getting a piece of that blame pie too. Eric and Hogan, Russo gets a piece, Dutch gets a piece, Jerry Jarrett gets a piece. That like everybody does. There's not many people. Dutch and the Knockouts get an excuse because they should have been paid more and they should have been given more since they were the #1 television rating draw. Yep. Monty Brown should have been the world champ, 100%. They had opportunities to do stuff. They didn't do it. Yep. We know next week's episode we're going to be reviewing will be about an independent wrestling match that I think went crazy at the time. Mm-hmm. It's going to be Samoa Joe and Necro Butcher. So we're going to be here talking about that next week. Sean, I'm going to let you take us out of here. I know we went a little over on our time. So Sean will take us out, and then we will see you guys next week for Clash of the Podcast. We got pay-per-views, all that good stuff coming up, so make sure you're locked in with the channel. But Sean, take it away.
Yeah, I thought tonight was a great episode. I hope you, Conrad, and especially the chat agrees. A couple of programming notes. Please make sure that you're ready and rocking and rolling with Conrad and my guy Derek this Wednesday night as they go over at AEW Dynamite, the go-home show to the pay-per-view. It's going to be very good. About 10 p.m. Make sure you're tuned in to the Everything Pro Wrestling channel, which is right here where you're at right now. This Thursday night, be tuned in to HW Weekly's channel for the newest and 50th edition of Hubbonomics as I give you a very detailed review and critique of WWE Unreal Season 3. I'll be binge watching that show between my work shifts and things like that over the next 2 days to make sure I'm ready for you guys on Thursday night. That will be a live episode with interactive comments and commentary. Make sure that you guys are ready to rock and roll with that. Obviously, we're back here next Monday night. Conrad and Derek will be back the next Wednesday night, and then the following Thursday night, which is the Thursday before SummerSlam, a very special edition of Clash of the Podcast with myself and Conrad, which will be our official SummerSlam preview show on the HW Weekly channel. So on behalf of Conrad Kushner, my good friend, my name is Sean Hubbard. Chat, we appreciate you very, very much. HW Weekly is here. EPW is here. You guys are here. We appreciate it, and we will see you next time. So until then, God bless, be encouraged, and evil never prevails.